Hello and welcome. My name is Kim Smith. Come join me in visiting the butterfly garden I designed for Willowdale Estate. Located in Topsfield within the 700-acre Bradley Palmer State Park, Willowdale is the restored arts and crafts stone manse and former estate of Bradley Palmer and is under the umbrella of the Massachusetts Historic Curatorship Program. The home was magnificently restored by the Fondetti Forsyth family and in 2007 became fully operational. Under the guidance of proprietor Briar Forsyth, catered weddings and special events are held in this stunning example of an arts and crafts home and garden. During the arts and crafts movement, an appreciation for natural landscapes and native plants blossomed amongst landscape professionals and home gardeners. In keeping with the naturalistic spirit of Willowdale, we are growing many of the native wildflowers and cottage garden plants popularized during the arts and crafts period, uniquely combining historic plantings with a modern passion for creating an entirely organic habitat garden that is welcoming to both people and pollinators. I designed the gardens to invite and support butterflies and myriad species of pollinators throughout the growing season. In early spring, the grounds are awash in native flowering trees, shrubs, and wildflowers, bloodroot, rockbell, and bunchberry, to name but a few, along with ephemeral tulips, jonquils, and forget-me-nots. Even the front autocourt is planted with nectar-rich flora attractive to Lepidoptera, the ruby-throated hummingbird, and native pollinating bees. In the center of the autocourt is planted the North American native pagoda dogwood, Cornus alternifolia, with its creamy white small florets so attractive to bees and azure butterflies. By midsummer, the butterfly-attracting stalwarts are in full bloom. The stunning black swallowtail, nectarine from the butterfly bush, is generally widespread and common. You can tell she is a female because she has more blue iridescence and because the dorsal sides of her wings are punctuated with white dots, unlike the male black swallowtail, whose spots are yellow. Both male and female have the characteristic orange spot dotted with a black center on the upper surface of the hind wing. She is nectarine from the nano blue butterfly bush. Although native to China, it is a wonderful butterfly attracting shrub and is not invasive in our region. We are looking at a hummingbird clearwing moth coming towards us, and it is often mistaken for a ruby-throated hummingbird because of its similar coloring. Clearwing moths, members of the sphinx moth family, are unusual because they fly during the day and have an unusual method of drinking nectar called swing hovering, shared only with certain bats and hummingbirds. Around to the back is the butterfly garden that surrounds the horseshoe-shaped courtyard where all outdoor events are held. The doorway leading from the house to the courtyard is embowered with morning glories, native honeysuckle, and monarda. The great spangled fritillaria is a grand butterfly to behold, and with a wingspan of 3 inches is the largest fritillaria found in our region. The brilliant spangles on the wing undersides are comprised of special iridescent scales that catch the light, detracting predatory birds. Here you can see it is probing each floret deeply for a drink of nectar. Female great spangles deposit their eggs on nearby violet plants. Monarda didyma, commonly called bee balm, is a member of the mint family and blooms in shades of pale pink to ruby red, and is highly attractive to bees, Lepidoptera, and hummingbirds. The snowberry clearwing moth, often mistaken for a bumblebee because of its similar coloring, takes its name from the lovely snowberry bush with charming popcorn-like fruits. The foliage of the snowberry bush is just one of the caterpillar's food plants. Wandflower, or whirling butterflies, Gora lindheimeri, is another favorite flowering plant for members of the sphinx moth family. Coneflower, Asclepias incarnata, ice ballet, and salvia make a wonderful bee and butterfly attracting trio. Great drifts of pure white flowering Phlox paniculata David bloom for over a month. The butterflies and clear-wing moths drink nectar from the individual florets of the big blousy blossoms. Joe pieweed grows 6 to 8 feet tall. We planted it on the sunny side of the courtyard, adjacent to the zinnia patch, and it is a bee, butterfly, and hummingbird magnet. The zinnia patch at Willowdale is near and dear to everyone for its cheery array of colors and because it attracts a bevy of pollinators. The yellow sulfur butterfly and the spicebush swallowtail, and the monarch butterfly, to name but a few. The diminutive eastern-tailed blues have a mere 1-inch wingspan. This little group dried their new wings on the pink zinnia after just having emerged from their chrysalis. The eastern tiger swallowtail is one of our largest butterflies. Although I believe in Massachusetts, where their rangers cross, we are often seeing a hybrid of the Canadian tiger and eastern tiger swallowtails. The spicebush swallowtail is nectaring at Penstemon, and it takes its name from the wonderfully fragrant spicebush shrub. It's caterpillar's host plant. When out in the garden, the surest way to distinguish whether or not you are looking at a spicebush swallowtail, as opposed to a pipevine or a black swallowtail, is to count the large orange dots on the ventral or underside of the hind wings. The spicebush swallowtail is missing one orange spot, third in from the inner margin. A hummingbird's diet is comprised of nectar and insects. We lure them to the garden with a variety of nectar-rich flora, including several native honeysuckles. Oh, she's getting a bug.
Let's go for the spider.
Lonicera John Clayton has creamy yellow blossoms, and Lonicera Dropmore scarlets are carmine red on the outside and tangerine colored on the interior of the blossom. Some of the wildflowers we are growing at Willowdale were planted specifically to attract early northward migrating hummingbirds, and they are dwarf crested iris, or Iris cristata, Turk's cap lily, Lilium superbum, rhododendron ribbon candy, and honeysuckle azalea, rhododendron viscosum. A pair of cabbage white butterflies are mating in the Native American flowering dogwood, Cornus florida. The red-spotted purple is nectaring from native meadowsweet, Spirea latifolia, and here it is nectaring at Asclepias incarnata, or marsh milkweed. The spicebush swallowtail is drinking nectar from the rose mallow. All the darker butterflies we have been looking at have evolved to mimic the highly toxic pipevine swallowtail, which is nectaring at phlox. Coneflower and crimson-eyed rose mallow. Rose mallow was a very popular planting during the arts and crafts period. Showy goldenrod and meadow blazing star, or Liatris ligulistilis, are wonderfully attractive to monarchs. Monarch caterpillars attach to the ribs of common milkweed, Asclepias syriaca, and then the perfectly formed chrysalis. The newly emerged monarch drawing her wings on Asclepias tuberosa, or butterfly weed. Rudbeckia autumn sun mixed with coneflowers and verbena. Late summer in the butterfly courtyard, and the New England asters are in full bloom. Joe pieweed, New England asters, and goldenrod were planted extensively in American arts and crafts gardens. Painted lady and smooth aster. Bees and swallowtails nectaring from the New York ironweed. I hope you enjoyed this window into Willowdale's welcoming haven for the pollinators. Join me again in another episode of Through the Garden Gate. Live beautifully.